What's up guys, Justin here with the FusionEssentials.com, back with another Autodesk Fusion 360 quick tutorial for you. So in today's video we're going to talk about how to create a Christmas ornament using the tools inside of Fusion 360. So this is a great exercise for understanding how the different shapes and tools interact. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so the way we're going to start off is we're just going to create a sphere using the Create tools inside the Solid tab. So just go under Create, there's an option down here for a sphere. So we're just going to go ahead and click on Sphere, and then we're going to pick an axis. It doesn't really matter which one, or a plane. So in this case I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, and then I'm just going to click a center point, and it's going to bring a sphere in. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this a 50mm circle, and we're going to click OK. That's going to create that as a new body that's centered on our origin. And so we've got our sphere, which for a simple Christmas ornament is perfect. Well, now what we want to do is we want to add the little top piece that goes on top of here that you hang the Christmas ornament off the tree on. So in order to do that, we're going to create a sketch. So to create a sketch, what I'm going to do is click on the button for Create Sketch, and then we're just going to select the straight up and down axis. So it's going to be this flat one right here. And then we're just going to use the circle tool in order to draw the radius of our top piece. So in this case, we're going to say it's going to be 20mm, and I'm going to click on Finish Sketch. And so now what I want to do is I want to use the Extrude tool to extrude this up above my object. So I'm just going to extrude it up through here. So right now what this is doing is this is extruding this up with a cut operation. We're actually going to use a join operation. What a join operation is going to do is it's going to add this new geometry to our original shape. But before we do that, let's go in here and let's edit our sketch. So I'm just going to right click on my sketch. I'm going to edit my sketch, and we'll use the dimension tool in order to set the diameter of this shape. And so we're just going to set our dimension to 15. So we'll set this to 15, which makes this a little bit smaller, and click Finish Sketch. And then just go in and select the option for Extrude and extrude this up through the top of your ornament. And I'm going to go ahead and set this length to 30 by typing in 30. And then just make sure with your operation you click on the button for Join. So that's only going to add this new geometry outside of your original geometry, and we're going to click OK. And so now what we have is we have a single body with these two objects on top of it. So we've kind of roughed out our shape. But one thing I don't like about this is the transition around this edge isn't very smooth. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the fillet function in order to add a rounded transition at this line. So all you need to do is just click on the button for fillet, click on this one line. Then you can see how you can click and drag this out, and what this will do is this will create a rounded edge so that you have more of a transition between your two objects. So it'll round off this edge and make this look more natural. So I'm going to go ahead and type in a value of 3 and click OK. So now we've got this kind of rounded transition in here. If anything, that might even be a little bit much. Maybe we'll run this again. Maybe set it to something like 2 and click OK. So now we've got this nice transition in here. Well, now what we need to do is we need to model out the little cap that goes on top of this. So in order to model out the cap that goes on top of this, I'm just going to add a new sketch. Then I'm going to click on this top plane. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw a circle in here. And if you remember, this original shape was 15mm. Well, we have to assume that this cap is going to be a little wider than this. So in order to make the cap a little bit wider, I think I'm going to go ahead and set this to 17mm and click Finish Sketch. So let's see how far outside of this goes. I think that works pretty well. And so what we want to do is we want to extrude this up. So I'm just going to take this and I want to make sure to get the central piece and the top piece, and I want to extrude these up 1mm. And note that what this defaults to is the join operation, and you don't want that because you want this to be a separate body because we need to edit this one separately. So I'm just going to go down, click on the button for New Body, and click OK. And so when I click OK, now we've got our piece down below, which is going to make up our ornament, and then our cap up above, which is a second body. And so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to turn off Body 1. And we're just going to do another extrusion. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to extrude, and I want to make sure this this sketch is turned on. But I want to go ahead and I want to click on this, And I want to set this to join because I want this to join with my top part. And we're just going to extrude this down by negative 4.5 millimeters. We're going to click, or we're going to hit OK. So now we've got two bodies in here, right? We've got our first body, which is our ornament. We've got our second body, which is our cap. And so what we want to do now is we want to add the detailing around the cap where this is kind of cut out a little bit. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to add another sketch. So we're going to click on Create Sketch and then set this so this is going to be straight up and down just like this. Then we just want to come in here, and because this is centered on the origin, we want to draw this around this green line because we're going to create a circular pattern where we repeat the cut over and over again. So, and I'm going to keep this simple. I'm just going to draw this maybe out like a 0.5 millimeter. We'll draw this up maybe 3 millimeters. And then we just want to draw this as a 135 degree edge. So we're going to type in 135. Then we're just going to move our mouse. And you can go ahead and move this so that it's centered on this point right here. And then I'm going to draw one more edge across the middle and one more edge on the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the mirror tool. So just go up to mirror, and you want to select these three edges as the objects you want to mirror, and then this as your mirror line. So that's going to mirror these across this line that we selected, and we can go ahead and click OK. Well, now what we have is we have a shape in the middle that we can extrude out in order to use to remove material. So we're going to click on Finish Sketch, and we're going to turn off the body associated with our Christmas ornament and only leave the cap. So we're going to turn off body 1 and leave body 2 turned on. And we're just going to use the extrude tool, and we're going to select these two faces, and we want to drag this out. And you can see how this defaults to cut mode because it's intersecting with another object. But the problem is we're only doing this on one side. What we want to do is we want to set our direction to symmetric. If you set your direction to symmetric, then when you click and drag this, it's going to click and drag out on both sides, meaning then we're going to be cutting both sides of this object. We're going to go ahead and click OK. So now, if I look at this, you can see I have cutouts on each side here, and you can make this profile whatever you want when you draw that in, but in this case I wanted to keep it fairly simple. And so now all we need to do is we need to repeat these cuts all the way around this cap. So in order to do that, we're going to go to Create, Pattern, and we're going to do a circular pattern. That allows you to copy things around a circle or around a radius. So, and in this situation, what we want to copy is we want to copy this feature or this cut. So we're going to use the drop down and select Features, and we're going to go ahead and click on this. And note that both of these cuts get selected when we do this. And so then all we need to do is select the axis that we want to rotate this around. So I'm going to click on Select, and I'm going to go find this blue axis. You can see how now this is giving me a preview of what this would look like if we had multiple different cuts in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this to, we'll go ahead and set it to 10 for right now and see how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And you can see how what that does is that goes around and that repeats that cut 10 times around this central axis. So now if we turn body 1 back on, you can see how we've got our cap around the top here, and then we've got our body making up our Christmas ornament. And then the one other thing we might want to do is we might want to come in here and create a torus across the top to act as our hook that this would hang off of. So we can just go to Create and click on Torus, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on this top face for right now. We're going to have to rotate it probably, but that's alright. So we're just going to set a torus with a very small diameter. And remember that you can set the diameter of the torus by clicking and dragging this arrow or by typing a value in. And then you can also set the inside diameter by clicking and dragging this. So, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this a new body. And we're going to click OK. And then I'm just going to take this, and there's probably an easier way to do this too, but I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to rotate it up by 90 degrees. I'm going to rotate it sideways 90 degrees as well and click OK. And so this is fine. We could probably leave this as is if we wanted to, but we do have a torus kind of intersecting with this face right now and continuing down into our object. Well, what I want to do is I just want to split that, So I just want to use the option for split body in here, and we're going to tell it to split the torus. We're going to tell it to use this edge as the splitting tool. So what this does, if we go ahead and click OK, is you can see how this is going to split this object into two different toruses, or two different halves. So you've got the top half and the bottom half. We can just turn that bottom half off. And so now when we've done that way, this is all a solid. So if you were to go in here and inspect this and do a section analysis along his face, you can see how this whole thing is operating as a solid. We had that extra little piece removed and all of that. So if you wanted to like 3D print this or something like that, you should be able to do that. So, and then I want to go ahead and I want to apply a material to this. So the way that I want to do that is I'm just going to tap the A key, and that's going to open up the appearance library, and you can come in here and you can add different coatings or looks to this. So in this situation, for example, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go down to glossy paint, and I'm going to drag glossy paint onto this object. So now I'm going to turn that body off for a second. I'm going to tap the A key again, and I'm going to drag a polished bronze onto this object. And we'll just click the keep button in order to keep the red material that was applied to the rest of this. And so now I've got a shiny Christmas ornament with a cap on top of it. So that's where I'm going to end this video. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Was this helpful to you? Did you like this tutorial? I just love having that conversation with you guys. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new Fusion 360 content every week. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.